Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome to the show. Irashaimase. This is Ohio Anime. Yes, it's not morning here, but it is in Japan, so that's how we get away with it. We're going to be talking about anime, particularly Demon Slayer, on this episode, the latest episode, episode 6 in season 3. My name is John, and we're going to be inviting in some guests here. So first, let's welcome Phil, back from last week. Hey, I'm
Hello.
liking the shirt.
Thanks. Had to do it.
Had to rep your bro there.
Yep, absolutely, exactly.
All right. We also have Mike. How's it going? Mike, you got a fun shirt to show off? Yeah, you know. Okay. All right. Perfect. Welcome back. And then finally, JP. Hey, how's it going?
It is going good.
All right. So yeah, crew's back. We'll be jumping into the latest Demon Slayer episode 6 shortly. Firstly, anyone have any sort of extra special beverages with them, or we got regular coffee from JP? No.
Nope. This is Lagavulin 16. Once again, I'm committing myself to taking out one more ice cube each week to be more of a man.
Wow.
Right now, I'm heavily watering it down and disgracing it, but I'm feeling good. So
you've got like one of those glasses you freeze or something. It's got like that angle to it there. I see.
Yeah, it's that. Let me wipe that frost off. Yeah, my wife got them. Cool. Scotch glasses for the guy that doesn't drink scotch. So I'm trying to do my best to use it when I can. So we'll do it tonight.
All right.
Well, JP, there's nothing wrong. I think I'm drinking tequila on the rocks. There's nothing wrong with having a little ice in there. I think it's fine.
Yeah, tequila, nice. All right. Any special kind of tequila?
El Padrino. Translate to the Godfather. I looked it up. So
nice.
But yeah.
Cool.
It's like okay.
And Mike, you back from the gym? You got your hydration going, or?
No, I'm gonna go after this. So I am drinking some coffee in order to make sure I've got the energy to get through this, and because it's morning in Japan, right?
Right.
Morning in Japan, drinking the coffee. There, I'm going full in, man.
All right, excellent. I had a beer earlier, so I actually don't have anything. I have things by me to drink, but I have no vessel to put them in, so I'm pretty dry tonight right now. So
it's straight from the bottle.
Yeah. I could on a couple of these, I suppose.
Slap the wine bag, baby.
The wine bag.
Slap the bag. You guys didn't play that?
Never played it, but I know of it.
Yeah, too classic for you, St. Thomas folk. But up in Duluth, you get the bag wine and you slap it and you drink it straight out of the.
Why do you slap it? Just
I have no idea. That's just slap the bag. You pass it around, and you slap the bag, and then you suck it down.
Isn't there like a risk of breaking it or something? Is that why they do it? Like a little element of danger?
I've never seen those things are so thick and would never break. I've seen defensive linemen slap the living hell out of those things and nothing happens. They drink a whole thing and then everyone's blacked out. So great time for everybody wins.
Yeah,
it's one of the games. Drink the beer. What'd you win? Another beer. Fun game.
Nice. Well, Phil, I see in the show notes you started to. I guess you didn't mention this show last week, but watching a new show made me want to.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I stuck to just one show last week, so I didn't take too much time with my my current shows. But I recently I think it's like pretty widely advertised on Crunchyroll, but it's on Crunchyroll, and it's a new release for the spring 2023 season. It's called I think I'm pronouncing this right, but Mashal, Magic and Muscles. So the main character's name is Mashal, or Mash, she goes by. And it's been excellent so far. I really enjoyed it. I think it's like MHA meets Harry Potter meets One Punch Man. I would say. So if you are a fan of any of those things, then it would be up your alley.
My brother was literally just telling me about this. He's like, it is so freaking funny.
It's awesome.
The main character is so dumb. He is just stupid, but he's so strong. It's like Asta, but he's also like this. And it's just like Harry Potter. Same backstory. It's a complete ripoff, except when he goes there, they're playing Quidditch. He's like, oh, you guys are doing spells on pick the lock, and then he just snaps the lock in half or something like that. So he was telling me that it's absolutely hilarious. If you need a good comedy or a good smile before bedtime, you're a little scared, you hear a little creep in the basement, throw on that, and you're good to go.
Absolutely. I will say, I'm taking more time to delve into it, but on the surface level, it is very funny, and he is really dumb. He's like this dumb jock, but he's also, as you watch more and more of it, he has a really good sense of morality and like right from wrong. And so he's a pretty typical like shonen protagonist. But it's also similar to One Punch Man in the sense that they're like leading into the like classic tropes and like subverting them. And so it's like they're kind of making fun of themselves. But yeah, no, it's excellent. MASH, he's like super strong and dumb with like a heart of gold. But
the main character's name is MASH?
Yep.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
No, that's hilarious that it translates that well to that's perfect.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. It's there's some deeper stuff. I actually read a really interesting article, and I can certainly pin it in the comments of the video, but really interesting article that saw this show as an allegory for like a neurodivergent person living in a neurotypical world, because he's like the only one that doesn't have magic in a world full of people that everyone has magic, and they actually kind of like get rid of the people who don't have magic. But so I don't want to give too many spoilers, but basically he does come across as someone who might be like neurodivergent, just in kind of his so it's not that he's dumb necessarily, it's that he just like thinks really differently and he just processes things really differently. And he's like very literal. And so for your listeners who aren't familiar with like neurodivergent versus neurotypical, it's like various diagnoses that like young people sometimes get diagnosed with, like various spectrum disorders, like the autism spectrum disorders, field and things like that. So I don't think the show came right out and said that they're like basing it off that, but someone made this article author made some really interesting points about comparing the two and using it as like an allegory for the way people who are not stupid but just different and think differently are maybe treated like by their mainstream peers and like the education systems and such in general. So just really cool stuff.
Wonder if that'll bear fruit or if it's something that's just read into.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think either way, I think you can, whether you buy into that or not, I think there's way you can certainly look and watch this on like a deeper level too.
Sure.
But it is hilarious and awesome, and the main character right away immediately are like rooting for this guy.
Nice. Well, definitely is on my list. See if I get there. I'm behind on what I was meaning to watch, or I'm already in the middle of. So doing what I can to stick with Demon Slayer here, which I guess isn't difficult because 1 episode a week. They go quick. They leave on the cliffhangers all the time. So we might as well get into that. Mike disappeared. I don't know where he went. Oh, there he is. Put him back in here.
Oh,
there he is. Shuffled.
Yep.
All right, let's add this here. Look at some pictures while we go through. So I still feel like, in general, Mike's having the hardest time with this season. Have you not? I'm guessing all the other Demon Slayer you've not watched weekly like this.
I think you said, did I not watch it weekly like this? I was trying to think about that too, and whether or not there was a difference or why I felt it this way. No, and I watched the first season of Demon Slayer straight through. I wasn't doing that on a weekly basis, but the second season, I was watching weekly as well. So
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know why. Am I having connection issues?
You seem fine on my end.
Keep talking, man.
Okay.
You got this.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know particularly why this season is striking me that way. They've always left it on cliffhangers, but for some reason, I just feel like this one's not progressing as well, or I feel like I'm getting cut shorter more. Maybe I need to, go back and rewatch the others, or maybe that wouldn't help since I'd be able to binge it all in one sitting. But yeah, there's definitely something here. And we even did progress in the story. I'm not denying that. It was just such a blue ball cliffhanger on this one. Like, you're right in the moment, you're amped up. I think this season, for whatever reason, just has me like, yeah. And then right at that moment, they're like, psych, you suck. Come back next week.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that the episodes in the other seasons, there's usually an episode or two lull between. There's smaller battles and there's more downtime. There was enough time to get more acclimated to the surroundings, and that kind of, I don't know, split it up for me a little bit. And that's why I'm thinking that this is a little bit different, because we haven't had just bad guys off the rip. And then Mugen Train was a little bit different, but that was a movie, so you got to, like, I didn't watch the breakup of the seasons of that. I just watched the movie, and it was fantastic. I'm sure if they would have, this could have easily been a movie for just 2 hours, and I would have been, we would be so much happier. I think it would be way better. And honestly, I'd much prefer to go movie season.
Okay.
As we go through these.
Phil, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both Mike and JP, and kind of piggybacking off what JP said about. I lost train of thought. Never mind. I do agree that it's like going. It does feel like it's taking a while to get where it's going. I mean, I think in the last 3 episodes, we've gotten through like 3.5 minutes in their world, something like that. Like, it's been just this one long battle. And so, yeah, I wanted. I'm also in agreement that it would be nice if it like got a little somewhere. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I think earlier on in the series, when, like, to your point, JP, there were smaller battles that were over faster, so there's more time for other things and world building, getting to know the characters. And I think a big thing was you got a lot of people's backstories in those earlier seasons, and now they're still trying to throw in some backstory on some characters, but it's in the middle of these epic fights, and so then you're like, this backstory was sweet, but also, like, can we get to all the action going on? And so it's hard when we're so, I think, amped up in these later seasons where so much is happening, and then it's like, oh, we got to see Genya's backstory quick. It's like, yeah, that's true, that is important, we do need to do that, but then there's like no good time to do it anymore because it's constant action.
That's a good point, but I think maybe why it felt so weird this time is, like, I don't know this guy, and he's a side character. The other times we were doing it, they were what seemed like main characters, and now with them not even being included in this season, like, maybe they are actually intended to be side characters. Zenitsu and Inosuke, like, maybe they are side characters just as much as this guy's a side character. But yeah, it felt odd. I mean, the story's great. The story's pretty cool. And but now they're almost introducing us to a third Hashira here. And it's like, all right, I mean, sure, but we've already got 2 stories that you can tell us about. And they're actually involved in the plot. I mean, this guy is cool, but it just feels weird. And the worst part about it is they spent the entire episode talking about his backstory, and we still don't know jack shit about what this power is on the screen. Like, dude, get to the freaking point.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yes. Yes. No.
Yeah, I sort of disagree with the panel. I've watched so much anime where it takes forever to have, any meaningful action, and like, I was pretty slow on the uptake to Demon Slayer because was kind of a slow start. We had Zenitsu like screaming all the time. You know, it was just like I didn't, you know, it was like I enjoyed it enough. But now when every episode is amazingly rendered action, I just can't complain. I've watched so much Bleach, so much Dragon Ball, so much whatever, waiting for the battle to frickin' start. And then it starts, and then it takes episodes over episodes, and they barely move. They barely do anything. They like spend all this time talking to one another. Yep. Or they spend this time powering up. You name it. Shonen after shonen. They never actually get to the battle, which is frankly why I'm watching this show for the most part. Like, I want to see these amazing demon slayers take on these amazing demons. And
do you feel like
it's
you got
giving
that
me
in
that.
this episode?
Yes, this episode I think was the second best of the season.
All right.
It's it was nonstop from the beginning. The fight varied more, and it was also connected. So like when we had this battle, everyone was sort of in the, you know, the same area, and I felt like they were playing roles. It made sense. We had a callback to the hey, the sulfur smells being blown away, so now I can smell the fifth demon. He had mentioned way, you know, right at the beginning, like how strong that scent was and stuff. So I hadn't thought of that.
We mentioned it in the last episode as well.
Oh, really?
That whatever they did the motion for, or whatever the visual smell was in the last episode, right before he sliced off all 4 demons, and then they made the callback to it. He's like, "What was that smell?" And they did the same graphic for it. That was the one thing I picked up on. I was like, oh, "Okay, I'm enjoying that."
They did. It was nonstop. People played a role. They made. They have a plan. We discovered that, hey, the little fear guy is still around. So there's a fifth one to dismember. That's what, you know. So we now think we know how to defeat them, and we, on top of that, yeah, we don't know about Genya's power, but I was shocked to find out, maybe I missed something somewhere, that he is the brother of a Hashira, and his backstory is super tragic and awesome. Like, I was definitely like, that's a great heartbreaking moment. You know, the room is invaded by a demon, and your brother's killed in your brother's killed in your arms, and ends up being your mom. Like, it's great. It's great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I will say, John, I think, you know, to your point about, you know, as Mike or any of us watching this week by week versus in the past binging it. And I guess I will say for me, this is the first time I've watched this show or really any anime like week by week. I traditionally have like just binge seasons. So I think to your point, maybe if we all watched this just back to back to back and could just skip right ahead to the next episode, we wouldn't have many concerns about it, because I mean, it has been kind of nonstop action, so that part's definitely been cool.
And John, I will say, when my complaints about not this episode in general, but like, I think it's the lack of world building in this season. Like, how much do we really know about the Swordsmith Village? We know that there's people with hammers, there's a spa, and that's it. We saw that there's a whole village, there's a ton of buildings, but I felt like everywhere we've been so far, we got a little bit more depth. Like the entertainment district, they went all over the place. They got sent to different houses. They were maids. Got to see Nosuke's face, how beautiful he is, you know, stuff like that. And that helped build kind of like the environment and where they are, and kind of get invested in the place that they're at. I really, even though that we know the Swordsmith Village is like this special place, they didn't make it special besides just telling us that it's secret. You know, I would have liked to see a little bit more in the first or second episode before the demons came. Like, you know, this is why it's so special that we pound the swords over here, or do something like that. You know, just kind of build up just a little bit. That's my only complaint about it. And then if they would have did that, and then this pacing of the fights, and then we're kind of drawn out like this, I think it would have made it a little bit more like more of a special place, I guess. It'd make me care more about the village, since it's called the Sword and Smish Village arc.
Sure.
I think that's a good point. And I don't know how much world building we really did with the entertainment district itself. like there was more character development in a sense, right? Like the points that you made, but it's not like, we intimately know the entertainment district, but the entertainment district isn't the Swordsmith Village. Like it doesn't have the same degree of importance. So I think that would be a excellent thing for us to have seen if, maybe we get to see it later, but thus far, it would have been a bigger deal. But it makes sense also that they haven't shown it because none of this has taken place there, really. The couple of scenes that we got with it, they just won't show us the cool demon. They keep showing us these four douchebags. Like, I'm so sick of seeing these people on screen by now. I want to see the cool guy, and they won't show that one. And he's the one that's actually in the village. Like, he's attacking the village, basically. So I wonder if they'll get there. And I want to say, too, like I realize I come off super negative. I love this season. I like this show. The fact that I want more of it is a good thing. That's my biggest disappointment, is just that I'm not getting enough of it. It's just like, it would be significantly better if I was just getting to binge this one. So I'll go back, put another tally in that argument of why binging is way better.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Mike, that's a great point. Like we nitpick because we love, right? It's like we all love the show, obviously, and we all just want more of it. So yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah, for sure. Well, get this guy off the screen. Mike's tired of looking at him. Here he is again. I can't get rid of him. Yeah, no, I get it, and it would be nice if they did some sort of, like, say, a movie or a supercut where you cut out all the openings and endings and stuff, so it could just go through. That would be a nice way to experience it for sure. Okay, so we got Genya. We got his backstory. That was really the focal point of this episode. Do we like it? Is it cool? Does it make us care about him more?
I did like it. I think, to Mike's point a while ago, is he an important character? Is he not? He hasn't been so far, but I think they're making him one. And so I think the fact that he got a pretty substantial backstory, and he's like, we found out this new thing about him, like he's clearly a demon or something else. I think they're making him an important character. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. And there's all these different connections, like his brother's already a Hashira, and he had a similar tragic backstory like Tanjiro. Like they had very similar situations happen, actually. And so it starts me thinking, were these just like random events that made them want to fight demons, or were they targeted because they are from these like particular bloodlines who have a better shot at like more innate abilities to like do the different breathing forms, and so they're trying to like take these families out? If that's the case, they're doing a terrible job.
Demon Slayer Corps would recruit in the sense that they like send demons after prominent families, or
not the Demon Slayer Corps, like the
so like just the intent really would be to wipe out the bloodlines from the demons and get rid of these certain families and stuff like that.
Potentially. I mean, if like Tanjiro and Genya and the Winhasher, I forget his name, are like identified as, or their families are identified as having innate like because clearly Tanjiro is related to that one guy from the flashbacks, and they have the same like hair and stuff. So there's obviously some connections with some of the demons, and so maybe they're like, I don't know. It just seems weird that both these two families had a similar event happen to them, and then they all went to want to be like demon slayers.
Sure.
I think seems like there's a connection.
Doesn't the main guy, the head of the Demon Slayer Corps, he can see the future in a limited capacity? That's how he that's how he sends the ravens, because he knows where they're going to be.
Oh, right. Really?
I wonder if there's more to that. But I mean, that would be a great twist at some point later down the road. Like, you've come so far. I'm glad I saw that if I just killed your family, some kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or something. It's like, you put that cancer in your mom's head, then you have to go kill the Demon Slayer Corp or something. I don't know. That would be. I would think that would be a great twist to if they needed to end this and button up somehow. Kill everybody. Demons and humans are all bad. That would be a very sad twist, but
Oh no, sorry. I guess I don't think.
Yeah, I think it was 2 It was 2 points. Like I kind of confused the one. I get what you're saying. You're saying the demons, they can tell they're going after certain prominent, potentially powerful bloodlines, and like JP is saying here is like, well, maybe it would be interesting if it was instead the Demon Slayer Corps, like as a hardcore recruiting method.
I didn't think about that.
That's what I thought you said the first time. Was the Demon Slayer Corps were like they instigate these to get the most potential out of people. Because they already do the messed up ceremony where they're like, okay, go to the demon forest and survive the night.
True.
That's pretty hardcore. It wouldn't be too much to get them to be like, okay, how do we get better applicants?
Murder their family. Yeah, I don't think. Well, I can't imagine they would put a twist like that, and that'd be a crazy twist. But no, I meant more like this. They experienced this event, like just these boys who survived their families being brutally murdered. Like Tanjiro came back to find his family murdered, which was horrifying, and then like obviously Genya and his brother experienced it firsthand, which is more horrifying, and so they have this like strong push to go and have this like deep-seated urge to prevent this from happening to other people and like killing demons. Is it that or my other theory? So that's where I was going with that. But that would be crazy too. That'd be
Did we know before that Genya was not capable of doing any sort of breathing techniques? So that's something.
I thought they had mentioned that previously.
Okay. Maybe if they did, I don't remember it. So that was a revelation to me. But
is that because he's something else? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I just thought in like the first time we got introduced to him, I thought it got brought up, and I could be wrong. I knew that already, so
okay.
Maybe I knew that from ancillary stuff that I'm not supposed to be looking at. But it didn't catch me off guard. But I still don't know why the hell he's got this demon capability. So, I haven't done too many spoiler lookups.
I mean, I like his frosted tips, It's, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's like almost Super Saiyan.
Yeah. He'll get there. We'll probably talk about him again in a little bit, but being they did show him in the episode, rank 6, right? Rank 6, 5, rank 5.
3, 2,
5 and 4.
3, 4, 5, 4, 3.
The vase guy's 5.
Yep, rank 5. What do we think of this little glimpse, this little moment?
I think they're teasing us. It's gonna be cool when it happens.
I think this Hasha doesn't. He played it up as like, oh, you're feigning that you're stoic looks here and stuff. Like I know you're terrified. I think he's not terrified.
No,
I think this is not an issue for him at this point. He's going to.
He probably can breathe underwater or something. Like, you think I can just breathe air? I'm a prodigy.
Miss Hashira, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Let's just turn this to mist and let's go.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That's perfect. Turn the water mist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's in trouble either. No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's gonna like necessarily kill that demon, but I think he's gonna. No. I think they're both sets of people are gonna like drive these two off, and there'll be a little lull. And I hope then we will, to your point, JP and Mike mentioned this, find out a little bit more about Swordsmith Village. So I think this is a long season. We're gonna get some eventually, but they've only been there for like a day and like a night.
Yeah, that's why
demons came to town.
Give me one more day of just like walking around. I would have.
Yeah, they'll get it. It'll come, I bet.
It would be interesting to see a lull and a little more explainer and a breather. I just don't see how they bring it about. I think it makes sense pacing wise. Just how do they manage to do that in a feasible way? That doesn't seem ridiculous. All right. So Tanjiro still had his sword all nice and red. He was really cool. Sort of directing traffic here. We had a lot of like really close calls in this battle. And I thought it was an interesting thing that. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and so much yelling. This episode was just screaming the whole time. Genya screaming at Tanjiro, Tanjiro screaming at Genya.
West,
it was just
north.
like, I was like, someone get these guys a lozenge. They need a lozenge up in here. Some hot tea.
Oh, I feel like this is I don't know. Dragon Ball's got enough screaming. I feel like this is nothing. This is
well, fair enough.
I didn't even notice, but it's very urgent, Phil.
I know. I'm sure I would be too. I just was very aware how much like screaming they're doing at the top of their lungs.
I didn't understand why the hell did you send Genya after the mini guy when you're the one that can freaking smell him?
Yes,
like
that was
right.
Yes, it's so stupid. Like, I'm not gonna bring a basset hound out to smell a duck and then make him sit while I go find the fucking duck.
Yeah, it was a pride thing for Genya. He's like wanting to be the one to become the Hashira and defeat them and stuff. So it's like, go get the guy, but it clearly wasn't going to work. So the growth here is that, hey, I'm going to give this up. Like, I will stand in the way while you go do it because I can't cut his head off. So that's
that one funny moment where he's like about to choke him out. Right, it was like right in the beginning, and then he just looks in Tanjiro's eyes. He's like, "That's okay, you can kill him." He's like, "Oh, I guess I'm not angry anymore at you." Just like, oh. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. What do you guys think of the mini demon?
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I mean, the gun sense. And the sword didn't work.
Yeah. I mean, he's still super strong, obviously.
Yeah. And it was interesting that Genya, like this, we were Tanjiro's in the situation where he's like used to breaking sword after sword after sword kind of thing. It seems like, because he's running against this where he's, he's entering the zone where all the levels indicators above every NPC's head is red and you shouldn't be there yet, and busting all his swords. And maybe it's a new thing for Genya, that he's crap, my sword's breaking. Or he was having his sword fixed though, right? Wasn't that part of the?
I don't know that they ever explicitly said, but it makes sense that he's in the village.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's ever fought an upper rank demon either. So
no,
yeah, I don't think so.
So since he's never done that, maybe he's never broken a sword because their durability, right, and the improper technique is what leads to a breaking sword, right?
But so even Tanjiro like broke his sword against lower ranks. I guess first one or whatever against those spider people and stuff. I think.
True. That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the backstory. We're happy to have the backstory. Do we want to see Genya as a main character going forward? Do you think that's going to be the case? Is this going to be like he's here for the season, then he's kind of gone?
I just feel like Tanjiro's the kind of character where he's like collecting friends over time. He's collecting these friends and they become these like this kind of semi-side main characters. And we've already had a lot of time with some of his other friends. And so I think they're probably taking this time in their absence to really, that's how I see it. It's like they're making, Genya into like one of his like close friends and confidants that he like fights with, and maybe isn't with all the time, but isn't pretty big in the show from now on, I imagine.
JP?
Seems like it's building up to the Infinity War fight. You have all the different seasons where you get to see all the backstories. You fight with the main characters, and then you get to have one big dope-ass battle at the end. And you're invested in a bunch of characters. A few of them might go down. You get a couple holes in the tummy or whatever.
But everyone comes back for the main fight at the end. That's a great point, JP. I like
so I'm really okay if that's the approach as well. We just get these little mini arcs with all these other side characters. Super cool with that. With the backstory, there's not too many times I audibly gasp But when all the kids, when you start like just chopping up kids in the story, that's what's just like, oh my god, they did that.
Yeah.
And then when the brother in his hands was also got, I was just like, oh man. So
yeah, it was brutal, and it was well told. It was good shock value. It made you feel. This character overall is, there's some creativity behind him. Like, he's got a lot of interesting facets to him. He'd be interesting if he was just this half demon, just that alone. But then his little gung fu is pretty interesting too. And then he's got the regenerative capabilities. Like, he's got a lot of stuff packed into one character, throwing a tragic backstory. Yeah, it's neat. I mean, and then you got the Hashira brother. I'm still wondering when he gets his super crazy eyes. Because you'd think that this event would cause the super crazy eyes, if anything. But yeah, I'd welcome him to the trio.
Yeah. I wonder if we're sort of like, training up the next generation of Hashira, and most of the current ones are going to die, and we're going to have some sort of time jump then, and so we're building up really who's going to be there next, and ultimately do the deed, finish them off, become victorious.
They certainly don't pull any punches, this show.
I thought this was
it's very compelling, but oof.
Right, I was a lot more effective than the vase, just the like the vase, the artwork of the people. I know that was kind of gruesome, but I think it was something with the art style that didn't have the impact on me, some of the CG elements or something like that. This I thought was really good and really relatable as well, like just a good compassionate story to.
I'll disagree there just a little bit, just for the sake of disagreeing with you, John. That's why you like this podcast, right? Now, this was super impactful, but it's a little cheap, in my opinion. Like, killing kids and killing dogs, right? Like, there's your easy win to the feels. So, as impactful as it was, and as visually striking as it was, and it made me feel all the feels, this is more of a basic horror trope, I guess. I'm not very surprised by it. I was in the moment, but just overall, like, it seems like a regular kind of situation. Whereas the vase thing, I just think was more creative. I could only really think of like one other thing that felt familiar to it, and that was in 300 when they were first like catching up to the Persian army, and it was the guys that made the tree out of all the dead bodies in a village. Very reminiscent of that, but the fact that they were still alive, and the fact that there was only 4 of them was kind of more intimate, and how he pulls them out of the vase, like, that still has more of a horror gut check feel to me than this does.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree that it is more original, the vase thing, though I'd say that whole idea of creating artwork or of the macabre is certainly something that, like, if you watch the Hannibal show, it's in every episode. That's like, here's the thing. If you watch True Detective, it's a serial killer thing, like, how do I show off my victims, and how do I actually see beauty in the death of my victims, so I think he fits in that, and I like it, and so that's why I kind of wanted to be more aghast by it, more scared. And again, I think it was the art style, having a lot of the CG elements, and the I don't know, maybe the
wearing those
faces
masks
being with the masks, something like that. It's something that
less personal.
didn't make it as effective as something like the tree that you're talking about in 300, or they do that in Hellblade as well, that kind of thing. So yeah. Point taken. All right. Well,
actually, can I mention something, John? Kind of on that point you guys were talking about, I think it was last episode we were talking about how, the show tries to make some of these demons, like, showing their backstory with the brother and sister to make them a little more like redeeming, and how they got there. But if they're going to try to do this with all the demons, they're doing a bad job of it, because the vase situation. It's like, I don't feel too bad. I'm not going to feel real bad for the vase guy when he finally meets his end, and I'm not going to feel too bad for like Muzan, who's orchestrating all of this to happen, where like children are getting murdered. Like, I don't know about this mom demon. She's probably a brand new demon who couldn't control herself, but the demons who made her a demon so that she would kill her kids, I don't feel too bad for whatever happens to them.
No, well, I think they probably take that upon themselves as sort of a challenge. It's one of those things that you can't possibly know whoever's backstory, and then when you do, you're like, okay, like you don't want this situation where you're like, all right, I feel bad for you now. It's not that. It's just, it's still, you can still have sympathy despite someone like having completely gone down the wrong path,
Sure.
deserving of death and torture. But you like, it's the fascination of how they got there, like what in life made them the terrible thing they are,
Sure.
Like, yeah, I didn't shed a tear for the last two demons in last season either, but it's like, yeah, you can see the sort of wretched life that they lived, that an end result.
Yeah, that's a great point.
What else we got?
Hey John, what are those like Japanese cleavers? Like the one dude in Jujutsu Kaisen uses one too, but it's like all wrapped up. What is that called? Is that just a Japanese cleaver?
Oh, okay. So you don't mean, like what he's holding right here?
Yeah.
That's literally just a kitchen knife. Just
gotcha.
Yeah.
From that time period.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can get him now. It's a single-sided blade, so it's flat on the one side, and then the angle's on the other side. Oh, okay. So like, we have small versions of it. Like a butcher knife.
I feel like they just pull them out a lot for shows like this.
Yeah, it's probably something that is like around common. It's not designed as a martial weapon, but clearly could be used as one.
Right.
Do you think in this scene, did the older brother know about demons, or was he just fortunate enough to have tangled with his mom and gotten her out into the sun and then had her in this situation? More questions, because we don't get answers in this show.
Genya seemed to suggest that he knew. When he was recounting the tale, it seemed to suggest that he pushed her outside, in like a knowing way.
He did, but
so I mean, that would that. But yeah, why does he know about demons? Like why does he know that? Maybe their village had been, I don't know. They didn't act like they were on high alert or something like that. I don't know.
It's always been a little unclear to me how much the general population of this time in this story know about demons. Like, obviously, the people who had their family murdered by them are like, oh, we're aware, but how afraid people are, or how afraid are people? I don't know.
They made a point in, I think it was season 1, about that. Like, it is not like it would be a boogeyman, equivalent to us, where we've made the stories up, but we've turned them into folklore or vampires, right? Same idea. Like if vampires turned out to be real.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's a big point of Muzan's. That's like why he stays in human form so much. And has like in the entertainment district, right? We saw him with his family,
right?
Like we saw him living amongst people. So he's trying to keep a down low appearance.
Yeah.
Cool. I liked that once again we're getting the role of Tanjiro as being like the pep talker. He's like I will instill a different set of morals. I will like win you with kindness. I will inspire others to greatness. So even if I fail or understand that I need help and teammates and stuff like that or whatever, I'm going to lean on you. Like he is really the one helping to elevate others around him. It's a good character trait that's really kind of started to come on strong.
Definitely.
I will say for this scene, for how fast the demon was moving, and then Tanjiro was able to make up the distance behind him and take it out and do the pep talk, he is moving on a completely different level compared to these 4 guys, I think, now. Like, he's just getting way OP status.
Well, they even mentioned at one point, I think, JP, they're like, I think the demons are like, oh, this guy's like, seems faster or better than he was.
Yeah, he got blood on his sword. So,
Yeah. Well, and they even talked about sort of the Gohan effect of, like, is it the motivation or when pushed against the wall, that kind of thing. He is, elevated to a level beyond what the intel on him would suggest, kind of thing. So I like the way it's going, because I feel like there's an even, it feels a little more like an even playing field. Like, I wouldn't expect this with these guys against upper rank like this, but at the same time, you can imagine him being a high upper rank, because against a single opponent, almost unbeatable, right? But against a multitude, against a team, all of a sudden it's a little less daunting. If you're 4 versus 1, how do you end up beheading really 5 demons at once
with a whip sword?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
With love.
It's like they
I'm
would just
sure Mitsuri's going to show up any minute now. Any minute.
I think the one thing I'm wondering about this is, my impression from the first couple seasons was that Tanjiro was going to become like the master of all of the breathing styles, and I think I misread that. Because he started off with, was it air or water? I think it was water, right?
I think so.
He started off with water, and it didn't quite take for him, and he couldn't figure out why. And obviously, there's this connection to the sun breathing thing, and now it seems like he's settling into the sun breathing. I thought he was going to become like
Avatar,
the master Avatar. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I'm happy that they're not going in that predictable route, or if I'm happier that, this sun breathing seems to be just wicked OP. And that's why, he's elevated. Like, they don't have any other sun breathers. They don't know how to rate him, to scale him.
Right.
Yeah, I'm happy that if he's not going to be like the Avatar dude, at least he has one that none of the other Hashira have, and like hardly anyone's ever had. So it's like a super cool one. Sun breathing, that just sounds awesome. So
yeah. All right, there he is, full of holes.
I was going to say, this scene was pretty dope. When the guy was like about to attack him, he's like,
yes.
Oh, wait, hold on. Shoot him in the face again.
That was sweet. Weeping spear. Just, that was awesome.
Yeah.
How did he shoot him in the face now? Which hole did he fill in so that he could lift that shoulder?
Yeah. I'm really interested in what the power is, and like, make a deal with the devil to try to catch up to his brother, or what. So yeah. All right. We didn't move around a lot, so I think this discussion can go a lot faster this week, because it's like we were on this battle and we largely focused on Genya's backstory. Is there anything else we've left unturned or want to say about this episode?
Not on my end.
All right.
No.
Nice.
I don't think so.
Well, I'm very excited for the next episode. Ready to go. Mike's blue balls will return to normal color soon enough.
Just in time for him to do it again.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
They're gonna be like about to do a full-on titty shot, and then they'll be like, "Nah, just kidding." And I'll be like, "Dude, now it's for real." Yeah,
it's very similar to the Minnesota sports memes about trying to win a championship. It's just like every time this new season comes around, it's the Michael Scott meme. It's just like, oh, another Minnesota Vikings football season. I am absolutely ready to get hurt again. So every week I'm just ready to just be let down in a good way, though.
You know about that. I'm from Wisconsin originally, so teams win occasionally.
All right. Well, we're not going to start that. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Mike, why don't you plug your channel?
At track_mouse on YouTube and Instagram.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, John.
Thanks. See you guys.
Just let it go, baby.